Still the champion of being the sworn enemy of lying, pomposity, smugness, and groupthink. That's Tucker Carlson. I'm simply one in the middle of the pack. Thanks to Blaze Media, they're putting out what Donald Trump has said about what his plans are in the upcoming term he will be serving. Now, before the election, we kept hearing how Donald Trump is a fascist. And even after the election, you keep on hearing things like that. But thanks again to Blaze Media, they dispel that notion. For example, have you heard what he has said, that is Don Trump has said about what he plans to do regarding censorship? It's anti-censorship. It will shatter the left-wing censorship regime. That's what we've had for the past 4 years. Here's how he plans to do it. End government collusion with companies and individuals for censorship purposes. Trump says, within hours of my inauguration, I will sign an executive order banning any federal department or agency from colluding with any organization, business, or person to censor, limit, categorize, or impede the lawful speech of American citizens. That measure would restrict government. That is definitely anti-fascist. You also, number 2, investigate and prosecute the digital censorship cabal. He said, I will order the Department of Justice to investigate all parties involved in the new online censorship regime, which is absolutely destructive and terrible, and to aggressively prosecute any and all crimes identified. And to prevent the destruction of evidence, Trump declared his intentions to urge House Republicans to immediately send preservation letters to the Biden administration, the Biden campaign, and every Silicon Valley tech giants, ordering them not to destroy evidence of censorship. This has been happening again, restricting government so that the people can freely speak. Number 3, revise Section 230 of the Communications Act. This revision would qualify digital platforms for immunity protection if, it's a big if they meet high standards of neutrality, transparency, fairness, and non-discrimination. Number 4, do away with misinformation and disinformation. He said, we need to break up the entire toxic censorship industry that has arisen under the false guise of tackling so-called mis- and disinformation. Again, this is what we see happening within the federal government, and what Trump is doing is restricting them, not the people. That is anti-fascist. Finally, develop a digital Bill of Rights. The time has finally come for Congress to pass a digital Bill of Rights. This should include a right to digital due process. In other words, Trump said, government officials should need a court order to take down online content. You see in basically each of these measures him restricting government. And that's what the Constitution does. The Constitution restricts the federal government and lets the people freely speak without the collusion of corporations entering into this censorship agreement, which has occurred, especially in the last 4 years, to strip away such notions as disinformation, misinformation as coming from the government. Trump concluded his 5-step anti-censorship plan with the statement, "When I'm president, this whole rotten system of censorship and information control will be ripped out of the system at large. There won't be anything left. By restoring free speech, we will begin to reclaim our democracy and save our nation." I wish he wouldn't use the word democracy. I wish he would say republic. But in any event, we kept hearing how Donald Trump would be a threat to democracy. But here he is, elevating free speech. He's affirming our First Amendment. He's letting the people speak without government intrusion and intervention. It's not just with speech, but he's also introduced a 10-point plan to root out the deep state. One of those things in that 10-point plan includes this: rid our national security and intelligence apparatus from faceless bureaucrats who target conservatives, Christians, and the left's political enemies. And this plan would also introduce term limits to Congress. I used to be against them, but now I say I'm for them. Just because those who tend to linger long in Congress become more a part of the system to accumulate power in the government so that the citizen becomes less and the government becomes more. When Trump speaks about the left's political enemies, I think there should be room for prosecuting those who may be on the right who would participate in such similar activities. But right now, it's a leftist problem because it's been the left, especially in the last 4 years, which has been attacking the right using government to surveil conservatives and Christians. And Trump is taking it on. That's anti-fascism. Fascism is of the left. Like a person posted after an article on The Blaze went up. If Trump is a fascist, then he's really bad at it. I would agree. Well, unlike Tony Kornheiser, pardon the interruption, I cannot promise you I'll do better the next time. And unlike Tony, I will wave the flag of sackcloth for humility.